Hi there, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Upcycled Adulting, where I am here to help you upcycle your real life into your best life by growing to accomplish your goals, creating healthy habits, and learning to overcome obstacles. And today we're going to be talking about the 7 reasons you are failing to achieve your goals. Now, the first thing I want to say is if you are struggling or failing to achieve your goals, you are not alone. 92% of people fail to achieve their goals. And let me just clarify this right now. It's not because you're not self-disciplined enough, you don't have enough willpower, or because you are lazy. So many people get stuck in that mindset and really struggle with achieving future goals because of this. So today I'm going to talk about the 7 real reasons based on research why you are failing to accomplish your goals so that you can go back and make these adjustments or fine tune in these areas and be able to start fresh and start achieving your goals and even some of your biggest dreams. So, the first reason is that your goal is not specific enough, or perhaps it's a little too specific. Now, when we get into creating goals, it's really important that we are clear about what our goal is. That means that we want to be thinking about what the finish line of that goal would be. And while there truly is no finish line in goals, which I'll dig into a little bit later, it's important to know how to measure your achievement. So when we say things, for example, like, I want to be healthy, we need to define what that means to us. Other times, however, we're way too specific and way too rigid about what that measurement is. And we have this idea, for example, again with health, that we're going to define our success based on something like weight loss. What happens here is we often set ourselves up for failure by taking on far too big of a goal or setting an expectation that just isn't possible. You're not going to fit back into your middle school jeans, and setting a number on a scale can be very misleading because as you start moving your body more and doing other things to achieve that muscle, your body composition may change, and that could cause a difference in the scale than what you might be expecting. So we want to make sure that we set a goal that is specific and is measurable, but that is also realistic. One of the best ways to go about this is to set an intermediate goal. So rather than having some long, far off goal, we set smaller goals to help us get there. As they say, we're going to eat that elephant one bite at a time. So if you, for example, are thinking, I would really like to lose 100 pounds to help with my health profile, then you might want to set a goal to lose 10 to get started. You may want to set a goal to eat more vegetables. You may want to set a goal to move your body at least 5 to 7 times a week. So you want to set those intermediate goals and strive for those goals so that you can stay on task and be making progress toward your overall big goal. Number 2 is that oftentimes our goals are not aligned with our values. That makes it absolutely impossible to identify our why. It makes it very difficult to stick with our goals when we have so many demands on our resources, our time, our energy, and our money, and we are actually not fully connected to or invested in our goals. Oftentimes, I see this happen again in that health arena where what we really want is to be healthy, but we have identified our goal as something that is really not aligned with our long term value system or what matters most in our lives. Number 3 is that we're lacking the proper foundation for achieving our goals. Now, whenever I talk about this, this is always something that surprises people because most of you have probably never heard of this before. Most of us have heard that we need to create a goal journey, that our goal journey needs to be a SMART goal, things of that nature. And I'm not necessarily even bought in on the SMART goal concept. But the biggest place where we miss it is in laying the foundation to actually accomplish our goals. What does that mean? Well, before we even get to the goal journey, before we even get to enacting any kind of plan related to our goals, we need to address our mindset issues, our resource allocation, and determine any skills that we need to build. So, what does that mean exactly? Well, if you are like me and you set a goal many times and failed to achieve it, there's a pretty good chance that you have a mindset that you don't deserve to accomplish your goals, that other people are so disciplined and you're not, you're lazy, you are destined to fail. You may also have mindset issues related to things like perfectionism or proving your worth or the need for productivity that serves other people. Those things will all undermine your ability to accomplish your goals. Then, on top of that, we need to think about how we're going to fit our goal work into our real lives. I have 5 kids. 2 of my kids have special needs. At the time I was setting this goal, I also had 2 huskies, 2 businesses running out of my house, and I was holding 4 very demanding volunteer positions. But somehow I thought magically I would have 2 to 4 hours a day to commit to my goal. That's not real. That's just not realistic. It doesn't fit into my real life. And so we need to consider our resource allocation. What does that mean? Where are we spending our money, our time, and our energy? Those are our 3 primary resources, and we need to make room in our lives to commit some of those things to ourselves and to achieving our goals. And again, you're going to see exactly how this sits on top of that mindset piece. Because if you don't believe that you are worth investing in, or if you believe that you need to prove your worth to the people in your life or earn love from the people in your life, you're going to struggle intensely with devoting those resources to yourself and to achieving your goals. You're going to set yourself up for failure by not considering how you're actually going to do that goal work. Then we also need to think about the skills we need to build. Again, let's go back to that health topic. If we don't know how to cook or we don't know how to shop, right? We don't know how to prepare healthy food. It's going to be really difficult to achieve a health goal. So understanding what skills we need to acquire in order to accomplish our goals is vitally important. Now, for those of you, again, who struggle with your mindset or struggle with resource allocation, this skill building piece is going to be really tough because, in my experience, what I've seen is perfectionists, time and time again, will not seek out the counsel or the support or the learning opportunities for skill building because they're ashamed that they don't already know these things. They're embarrassed to seek out those skill building opportunities. In addition, these skills require our time, energy, and oftentimes financial commitment to be able to acquire them. And so, if we don't have this mindset piece and this resources piece in place, skill building is really difficult. Once we have the skills, the mindset, and we have identified the time or the space in our lives to achieve our goals, then and only then can we enact our goal plan and start on our goal journey. These are the foundational pieces. Number 4, and this is one of the most common and biggest mistakes I see people making, is relying on self-discipline and willpower to help them accomplish their goals, meaning force. Now, this is a little controversial when I talk about it because so many people are reinforcing the idea of leaning into self-discipline and willpower. The problem is that self-discipline and willpower are both waning. They are not going to last long term, and they are not going to provide ongoing motivation. When we lean into self-discipline and willpower and we fail, as we inevitably always will, we end up going back and eroding that mindset foundational block because we feel like something's wrong with us. And that is not at all true. Motivation is actually not a feeling. It is caused by a neurochemical in our bodies called dopamine. And many of us have heard of dopamine, but understanding how to hack your dopamine is really important to staying motivated and getting motivated and continuing to be motivated to accomplish our goals. And luckily, we know exactly how to hack dopamine. So, what we want to do to increase those dopamine levels and keep them consistent is to praise ourselves for our accomplishments, to be proud of ourselves, to even brag on ourselves about what we have accomplished. When we do that, it increases the dopamine level in our bodies. And because of that increase, we feel motivated to continue. We feel fired up and excited about continuing. Now, some people also find that they will get that initial amount of dopamine from journaling about their goals or thinking about their goals or sharing their goals with other people. That is more common in neurotypical people. Usually in neurodivergent people, they don't get that initial dopamine hit. And that's why it can be so hard to get started. That means you need to give yourself credit for even the small things that are already occurring in your life so that you can increase that dopamine level. Number 5 is a lack of support. Yes, you can accomplish goals alone. Yes, I even have a video here about how to do it. Unfortunately, it is harder to accomplish goals alone, in large part because of that dopamine thing I just talked about. When we share our progress with other people, when we share our wins and we're proud of ourselves and they celebrate us, that increases that dopamine level even more. Having people in our lives who can support us and cheer us on helps us to stay motivated and accountable to accomplishing our goals. So we can absolutely create communities online and get that support in that way. I have a membership to Inner Circle that can absolutely help you with this. And there are so many other opportunities. Oftentimes, people tell me in their own lives that they don't have people that they feel will cheer them on, either because they're surrounded by saboteurs or they're surrounded by people who have the crabs in the bucket mentality, right? Misery loves company, or sometimes because they feel like they're bragging and they feel self-conscious about that, especially when they haven't achieved the goal yet, or if it's something that they've been working on for a long time and have failed to achieve in the past, then they might feel embarrassed or ashamed to share it. So it's really important that we get this support, but that we do it in a way that feels a little more low stakes and a lot more reliable. I'll go ahead and link Inner Circle below so that you can check it out and see if it is right for you. Number 6, probably the easiest way to tweak your approach to achieving goals is to write it down daily. There was this big study done at Harvard a few years back, and they found that if you write your goal daily, you are more likely to achieve it. It's partly because it's front and center in your mind, and it's partly because this is a way in which we share our goal. And so, what we want to do is simply write down every day what that goal is we're working on. It helps us to stay tuned into it. You can do this in your planner or in your journal. You can even just grab a notebook and write your goal every day. My goal is every single day, just like you're writing sentences like back in the day when classroom teachers would make you do that for disciplinary purposes, right? I will not pass notes in class, except it'll say, my goal is. That's going to help you profoundly in accomplishing your goals. And number 7, again, another problem I see happening all the time is perfectionism, the need to overcome perfectionism. And perfectionism leads to 2 different things. One is an all or nothing mentality, and the other is analysis paralysis. If you are thinking, I need to have the perfect goal plan, I need to know what step 500 is, I need to know exactly what I'm going to do to accomplish my goals, spoiler alert, you're never going to accomplish your goals that way. And the reason why you can't achieve your goals that way is because there's no room for growth. There's no room for learning. There's no room to build resilience through trial and error. When we set out to achieve our goals, it's essential, absolutely essential, that we leave space in our plan to pivot. We leave space in our plan to implement what we've learned. So we're not going to have all those steps. And even if we have the milestones laid out, which I absolutely teach in Goal Mastery, we oftentimes will need to make tweaks or adjustments to those milestones as we're going along because we're learning and growing as we go. In addition to that, oftentimes people feel like they're behind, especially if you failed to achieve your goals in the past. You might feel like you're behind. I want you to know that you're not behind. You're in the right place right now. You're not behind. So you don't need to go in all or nothing. One of the most important things to know about goals is that in order to have them really impact our lives, the trajectory of our lives and our future, we have to be able to maintain them. And that means that whatever we're doing to accomplish our goals needs to fit long term in our lives. We all know that person who went on that crazy diet and lost weight. And as soon as the diet was over, they started eating all of the junk again. They stopped moving their bodies. And before you know it, they had gained all the weight back and then some. Understanding that when it comes to goals, there truly isn't a finish line. We never stop working to at least maintain those goals. So it's essential that as we're working on our goals, we're doing it in small steps, small pieces that fit into our lives, that can become habits, that can become part of our daily routines or our weekly, monthly, yearly routines so that we can maintain them. All or nothing is going to do nothing but burn you out and cause you to not achieve your goals. So we want to be really mindful if we want to achieve our goals to set our goals well in alignment with our values and specific, but also open and a little bit smaller and more doable. We want to make sure that we lay a solid goal foundation, that we're keeping our dopamine levels up, that we have realistic expectations of ourselves and how our goals fit into our real lives. These are the things we need to be thinking of when we're setting goals, when we're laying out our goal plan, and when we're working to achieve our goals so that long term we can maintain them. I have a free resource I would love to give you to help you out with this, to dig more into these goal foundations, help you develop that habit, to create that constant dopamine stream so that you can stay motivated. I'll go ahead and link that below as well. It's called the Goal Foundation Workbook so that you can get your hands on that. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. You don't want to miss a single thing. I'm going to teach you how to change your life and create the life you can dream. Bye, everyone.